That sound you just heard, it wasn't just the squeak of sneakers on hardwood or the buzz of an arena crowd. It was the unmistakable crack of a system collapsing under the weight of its own arrogance. It was the sound of a league that had been handed salvation on a silver platter and then chose to throw it away. For months, fans were told to believe in a miracle. The so-called Caitlin Clark effect was supposed to be the story that saved women's basketball. Ratings skyrocketed. Arenas that once couldn't fill a single section were suddenly sold out. Networks that barely mentioned the league were now promoting it in prime time. A rookie from Iowa had done what decades of corporate campaigns, sponsorships, and political slogans could not. She made millions of people care about the WNBA. But here's the part they didn't want you to notice. Beneath the sold-out games and record-breaking viewership numbers, something else was happening. Something darker. A quiet resistance was forming, not from the fans, but from inside the very system that was supposed to protect and promote her. While Caitlin Clark was drawing historic attention, powerful forces were quietly working to keep her in check, to remind her and everyone watching that this was their league, not hers. And now the illusion has shattered. With Clark's exit from the playoffs, the mask has come off. What's left isn't a feel-good story of a rising league on the verge of a breakthrough. It's chaos. It's rebellion. It's a meltdown so severe that the very existence of the WNBA has been called into question. This isn't a minor ratings dip. It's not just fans moving on after one player's season ended. What we are witnessing is an unprecedented boycott. Millions of viewers walking away in unison, convinced that the league they were told to support never really wanted them there in the first place. And the most shocking part, the WNBA did this to itself. So today, we're pulling back the curtain. We're going to trace the rise and sudden implosion of the Caitlin Clark effect, uncover the corporate decisions that sabotage their own star, and expose how an agenda buried beneath the surface may have doomed the WNBA's biggest opportunity in history. By the end, you'll see why this isn't just a setback, it's a self-inflicted wound that may never heal. When Caitlin Clark stepped onto a professional court for the first time, the numbers told a story that no amount of spin or corporate messaging could deny. She wasn't just another rookie adjusting to the speed of the game. She wasn't just a promising talent with a college following. She was the WNBA. Every metric, every broadcast, every arena attendance sheet pointed to the same undeniable truth. Caitlin Clark had single-handedly dragged an entire league from irrelevance into the national spotlight. During the regular season, the difference was staggering. Games that featured Clark in the Indiana Fever averaged nearly 1.2 million viewers, a number that rivaled primetime coverage of established men's sports. Without her, that average plummeted to less than 400,000. Think about that. One player, barely months removed from college, tripled the league's audience overnight. No marketing campaign had ever come close. No carefully scripted WNBA commercial had ever delivered this kind of bump. This wasn't hype. This was a revolution. And the entire sports world was watching it unfold. Sponsors noticed. Broadcasters noticed. ESPN, a network that had often buried the WNBA in off-hours coverage, suddenly put Fever games front and center. Headlines labeled her the rookie sensation, the savior of the league, and women's basketball's golden ticket. And in a way, that's exactly what she was. She was the spark that transformed a niche product into a cultural conversation. But the true scope of her impact became clear during the playoffs. Facing elimination against the Connecticut Sun, Clark's Game 2 matchup shattered records. More than 2.5 million viewers tuned in on ESPN, making it the most watched WNBA game in the history of cable television. To put that in perspective, this wasn't just a big night for the league. It was a seismic event. That one game outdrew NBA regular season matchups, MLB games, and even certain NFL broadcasts competing for airtime. It was proof, undeniable, and historic, that Caitlin Clark wasn't simply moving the needle. She was the needle for the WNBA. It should have been a dream scenario. They had momentum. They had the attention of casual sports fans who had never before cared about the league. They had millions of new eyes on a product that had struggled for decades to break into mainstream relevance. With the playoffs just beginning, the stage was perfectly set for the WNBA to ride the wave of Clark's star power deep into the postseason. It should have been the turning point. It should have been the moment the league finally broke through. Instead, it became the moment everything started to unravel. The numbers prove Caitlin Clark was the league's lifeline. But numbers alone don't tell the full story. Because while she was breaking records off the court, something else was happening on it. Something her fans couldn't ignore. From the very beginning of her rookie season, the tone felt different. The physicality directed at Clark wasn't the kind that comes with normal competition. It felt excessive. It felt personal. Night after night, viewers watched as Clark absorbed hard fouls that seemed to cross the line between toughness and hostility. Elbows caught her ribs. Defenders bodied her with unusual force. And the referees often swallowed their whistles. For some, it looked like a rite of passage. The welcome to the league treatment every rookie has to endure. But for millions of fans tuning in, it felt like something more. A deliberate attempt to humble the very player who was dragging the league into relevance. The tension boiled over during the playoffs. In a pivotal matchup against the Connecticut Sun, a single moment turned into a viral firestorm. Midway through the game, Janai Carrington's hand struck Clark across the face, leaving her with a visible black eye. Officially, it was ruled accidental. Both players downplayed the incident, but fans weren't convinced. Clips of the play spread like wildfire across social media, slowed down frame by frame, analyzed from every angle. To Clark's supporters, it looked intentional. A targeted jab that the league conveniently brushed aside. Hashtags accusing the WNBA of failing to protect its biggest star trended within hours. Amateur sleuths dissected the footage like detectives working a crime scene. Even neutral observers admitted the optics were terrible. The face of the league had been hit, injured, and left largely undefended. And that was the real issue. Whether or not Carrington meant to do it, the perception was clear. Caitlin Clark was being singled out, and the league wasn't stepping in to shield her.